Hi, I'm Jess, part-time hobbit, and I'm here to talk to you about Tolkien. We are here in my kitchen because today we are making 3 drinks of Middle-earth. This should be perfect for any and all of your varying holiday and seasonal party needs. And while the drinks that I'm talking about today will contain alcohol, I'll offer some potential alcohol-free alternatives for those of you that are under 21 or don't want to drink. Should I make like a disclaimer about how I don't know what I'm doing and this video may be kind of a mess?
No.
Because preparation is key and I'm locked out. The 3 drinks I have selected today are Miruvor, Orc Grog, and Ent Draught. For the sake of convenience, I am just going to run straight through all of these recipes, but if you want to see Dylan and I tasting them, giving notes, as well as non-alcoholic alternatives, make sure you stick around to the end of the video. Alright, let's get into it.
It is Miruvor, the cordial of Imladris. As soon as Frodo had swallowed a little of the warm and fragrant liquor, he felt a new strength of heart, and the heavy drowsiness left his limbs.
So we are going to begin with Miruvor, which I am making as a warm mead-based drink. We are going to take about 7 ounces of mead, a cinnamon stick, 2 orange peels, and 3 lemon peels, and we're going to bring all of those up to a low simmer in a saucepan on the stove. Make sure it doesn't cook too hard because you'll cook some of the alcohol out, but once it's come up to this nice simmer, turn that off. We're going to squeeze in the juice of half a lemon, add an ounce of elderflower liqueur, and an ounce of rosewater. Before this has a chance to cool, I am just gonna very, very precariously strain this into a glass. Now there we have our Miruvor.
Ugluk thrust a flask between his teeth and poured some burning liquid down his throat. He felt a hot, fierce glow flow through him. The pain in his legs and ankles vanished.
Our next recipe is going to be for Orc Grog. I did technically already cover this in my Worst Foods of Middle-earth video, which you can check out right here. Of course, that one was not meant to taste good, and Dylan suffered the consequences. But that's a thing of the past, because today we are going to make Orc Grog that actually tastes good. For this recipe, we are going to be using a honey ginger syrup, which will need to steep overnight, so make sure you get this one ready the night before. But it's very simple. We're just going to take half a cup of water, half a cup of honey, and a handful of roughly chopped ginger, probably about 3 inches worth of a root. Once this has been simmering for a minute or 2, pour it off into a jar and leave it in the fridge sealed overnight or 8 hours. Now this drink tends on the sweet side, so in order to cut a little bit of that sweetness, we are going to rim our beautiful glass in a salt and bacon mixture. The bacon is, of course, a reference to the man flesh of which the orcs are so incredibly fond, and also a reference back to the last video that I made on Middle-earth food.
Is that bacon?
Well, yeah, I didn't use actual human flesh.
Oh, well then what's the point?
So in order to get this to the right consistency, I'm using a coffee grinder, but if you have a spice grinder or a food processor, that'll work fine, or honestly, mortar and pestle, a knife to finely chop it, or, okay, there we go. I was just spitballing until I got that on there. I'm gonna take about a strip, maybe a strip and a half of cooked bacon, and it's gonna go into our little coffee grinder, along with some salt, probably half a teaspoon. And then because I don't have an outlet, I'm gonna take this over here to grind it. This part can get a little loud. So what we're going to be left with is what I'll call a fine oily powder. And I'm sure there's a chemist out there who could tell me how to make this less oily, but they're not here right now. Maybe like cornstarch. I know there's like maltodextrin, I think is the right thing, but I failed AP Chem, so I wouldn't know. With our powder poured out onto a plate, I am going to wet the rim of this glass with a lemon, and then I'm just gonna kind of stick that in there. I have technique. Not a good technique, but so that doesn't look fantastic, but it looks plenty rustic. Ta-da! That's ready for our drink. For this play on grog, we are going to use apple cider as a base. You can heat this up in a pan, or you can just use the microwave like I did. So this is about 10 ounces, a little more than a cup of apple cider, but that's gonna kind of depend on the size of your glass. I'm gonna throw in 2 ounces of dark rum, and we're gonna take our honey ginger syrup out of the fridge, strain the ginger out, and add about an ounce of that. Where's my butter knife? Take your trusty butter knife, give her a stir. Remember that you were gonna add lemon juice to this. Discover that it's possibly gone bad. Decide to use it anyway. Yeah, that's a lot of seeds in there. Okay, now that everything's actually in there, we're gonna give it a stir. You could strain out the lemon seeds, but frankly, I don't want to. With its kind of murky contents and varying things floating and moving around inside it, we have our Orc Grog.
The drink was like water, indeed very like the taste of the draughts they had drunk from the Ent Wash near the borders of the forest, and yet there was some scent or savor in it which they could not describe. It was faint, but it reminded them of the smell of a distant wood borne from afar by a cool breeze at night.
I am particularly excited about our final drink, which is going to be the Ent Draught. Of course, there are 2 different versions of Ent Draught in the books, one that is more nourishing and one that is super refreshing, and today we are going to tackle the refreshing version. And to give us some of the more woodsy, herbaceous notes that we're looking for in this drink, we are going to need a rosemary simple syrup. For this particular recipe, we are going to need a half cup of sugar, a half cup of water, and a few sprigs of rosemary, say like 3 or 4, roughly chopped. You may notice that I included the rosemary stems, and that is both because I am lazy and because it won't really matter, because these bits are getting strained out later. We are going to heat the sugar, water, and rosemary over medium on the stovetop. You're only going to want to let the rosemary simple syrup steep for 20 minutes maximum because the rosemary is pretty strong. I'm starting it off into a whiskey glass because it's all I have left. That sounded grim. Oh god, it's everywhere. Dylan? I need to juice a lime. I don't have anything aesthetic to pour this into, Dylan. We got all the lime juice. Crisis averted. Okay, we're gonna ignore how sticky this is and take a couple of ice cubes and 2 ounces of gin. And then we're gonna do an ounce each of our rosemary simple syrup and then an ounce of lime juice. And then we are going to pop this on and give it a shake and hopefully not get it all over your kitchen. We're gonna take a nice chilled glass and stream that off into the glass. Then to garnish, we're just gonna kind of set this here as a little snack for later. And there we have it, our Ent Draught.
I'm Dylan. You may remember me from such hits as the Simpson movie.
You weren't in that.
I was Homer. Eat my shorts, Marge.
So I felt bad about Dylan only ever eating bad food, and now he's gonna actually have something good, and that is alcohol. We're gonna play a little roulette here with who gets the hot one, so pick one. All right, so here we have our Miruvor. Cheers.
Assalamu alaikum.
Yeah, I could drink a lot of this.
Getting a lot of tannins.
Oh my god.
Picking up a lot of tannins in this one. It's really good.
No, this is really good, and I'm quite proud of this because this is one of the more original ones.
Something I really like about it is how light it feels. It doesn't feel like a very savory or like heavy drink.
It's like very pungent though. Like it's a lot of flavor. It's not light in flavor.
No.
It hits with like, you can taste the alcohol and the heat of it. You have a party or something, this could work as like a crock pot drink. You just wanted to kind of have a crock pot simmering for most of the day. It could be really good. Just keep it on low. If you wanted a non-alcoholic version, I don't know that it would be quite as rich as this is, but you could probably use like green tea or like orange blossom tea or something and a little bit of honey. Good deal. Let's give her a taste.
Give her a taste real quick.
Cheers.
Cheers. L'chaim.
It's cold. Mine is cold, but it is still good. It's definitely less complex than the Miruvor, for example, but like this would be an even better party drink in my opinion.
Oh yeah.
Especially if you throw it in the crock pot, a couple of cinnamon sticks, plenty of whiskey or rum in there. Maybe just serve it with like a plate of bacon so people can garnish their glasses and snack. And I think this could be a really fun party drink.
Definitely. It's like, it could serve as almost like a nerd's version of jungle juice. You know, I've had Orc Grog once before. Comparing it to the other one,
yeah, how's it compare?
I would have to say that this one, by comparison, the other one has a lot of flavor going on, a lot of profile to it.
Not good flavor.
A lot of elements, a lot of
Is that vinegar?
But this one I would say is different in the sense that this one is good, but the bacon salt mixture on this feels like it's there for a reason.
Yeah.
The bacon and salt really just perfectly balances out the sweetness of the actual drink itself. It's
feels like
really
a whole
great.
meal.
It feels like a darn feast and a half.
In terms of alcohol content, this is one of the more flexible ones, I would say. So if you only want a shot of rum, that's totally fine. Or if you want to up the rum, honestly, it could probably handle 3 shots, even in just this relatively small amount. You don't want any rum in it, honestly. This just as a mulled cider, a little bit of lemon with some bacon, is fantastic as a grog. Also, if you don't eat meat and you don't want to do the bacon, I would probably still recommend some sort of a salt rim. Even a salt and lime zest rim I think could be just fantastic with this. I'm starting to feel this and I want to finish this video before I'm drunk. And we have a pizza coming, so I'm gonna set this aside and finish it later.
Okay. And die behind the wheel.
It does.
But I'm not wasteful. I'm just an alcoholic.
Let us cheers.
Tomato cheers. Lettuce. Come on.
I love that.
That one was really good.
This is probably my favorite just because it's kind of the least sweet and I really like something with bite.
I think out of all of the drinks, this is the one that I can imagine myself ordering in a bar.
For the record, this recipe I just found on Google, so like I really can't claim much ownership for it, but I think it really suits our purposes. It kind of looks like murky river water. The gin gives you those pine notes, and the rosemary adds to that, and it's very foresty and yet refreshing.
Not that you should do this, but if I ran a marathon and then immediately after was like covered in sweat and was like, I need a drink. If somebody handed me this, I would down the whole thing.
For a non-alcoholic alternative, I think just like plain sparkling water or tonic water, really nice and cold. I mean, you'd lose some of the pine notes,
Right.
but I still think that would be really good, and you can make it in a big jug, and that would be a fantastic drink to accompany a party. So it is American Thanksgiving when this day is coming out. So Dylan, what are you thankful for this year?
Have you ever heard of The Sopranos? The HBO original series, The Sopranos, which aired from 1999 to...
Oh my god, my pizza's here. All right. Got some pizza. This Thanksgiving, I am grateful to this community. You guys are really cool. You choose to subscribe and watch my videos and comment on them and like the video, and it's really cool that people want to watch the things that I put out. So not to get too sappy, but I'm really grateful for each and every one of you. Nerd! Be sure to leave a comment if you plan on trying any of these recipes, or if you do, because I think they are fantastic for holiday parties or Lord of the Rings themed parties, or just a Saturday night. And make sure you drink responsibly.
Oh yeah, we were supposed to
say something about
drink Scotch whiskey all night long.
Special thanks to Dylan this week because he filmed this entire thing. I usually do it myself, and it's a lot easier with this guy. So make sure you thank him in the depths of your soul. Right now, do it. To those of you that celebrate, I hope that you are having a very, very happy Thanksgiving today. Make sure you like this video if you enjoyed it, and feel free to subscribe if you like the kind of stuff that I'm doing here on this channel. I make videos every week all about Lord of the Rings and the art of storytelling, and I'd love to have you join this community. Try one more time.
We're gonna do that. We're gonna get on the third one.
Thank you all so much for watching, and I hope that you all, say it with me, have a very happy hobby day.